We're here today. We'd love to talk about creating transformative learning experiences. But before we jump into this, my name is John Becker, and I'm the founder and CEO of Platcore. There's a couple of stats that are actually kind of fun to listen to. First, 32% of the US and UK respondents feel that we're actually unqualified for our own jobs, and worse, about a third of these people actually fear that their bosses and colleagues agree. And bounce that off the other stat where about half of these people in both countries have colleagues who are actually not qualified for their jobs. So a lot of people are running around not necessarily qualified for the jobs that they're currently doing. And we're here to talk a little bit about training experiences. So let's talk about what that really is. So when you think about what a great training experience is, there are a few words that may come to mind. You might think about, that's motivating or interesting, timely, challenging, meaningful. Oh, useful is a good one. But all of these things actually make it, possible to continue to train your workforce and make people more capable, um, more qualified for their own jobs, but really bringing that experience into an engaging and meaningful context for people. But now, though, when you think of what learning management is today, there are frankly a few other words that come to mind. Yeah, it's boring, it's worthless, stifling, irrelevant, it's an obligation, it's painful. All of these things are what you would call, have to do words, like I have to do this training or I have to do this, compliance activity. And that's really not the experience that we want. You can think about like these things for, the LMSs of the 2000s that are, behemoths and difficult to navigate, difficult to actually get people to do what you want them to do. And that's not a great experience for anybody. So we're going to talk about three things here that help make those transformative training experiences. So let's talk about, training that I need, when I need it, and where I need it. This can be, around two things. The first is you might have a treadmill and you want to actually just meet people where they are physically. So that can be, at home where they're working out, maybe at the gym, lots of different places. It can also be, out in the field where people are getting information about specific activities they need to do their jobs, exactly when they need it and where they need it. But I want to make something really clear here. This is not just about being mobily accessible and being able to have your training experiences just happen to you whenever you need them, right? The second side of this is that training needs to be contextually relevant. So it needs to meet employees where they are in their own employee life cycle. So if somebody's brand new to an organization, they're going to have a lot less experience with their organization, and they're going to need different types of training as well versus somebody who's maybe been there a little while longer. And certainly, down the road, if somebody's been there for 10 years, their training needs are very different. But you have to be able to meet people where they are, both physically and then also contextually inside an organization. The second point you really kind of want to think about is like, how do you get people to actually do the jobs that they were hired to do? When we talk about spending your limited training budget, you'll probably already have learning and development people, other folks that are responsible for training inside your organization. We need to get them out of the minutia of actually managing an LMS. We take people with doctorates and really brilliant minds around education and learning and development who are uniquely qualified to be able to match the curriculum to the strategy of the organization, being able to analyze the employee workforce and provide information and training to them that is most helpful to them. But instead of doing that, we've taken them and turned them into LMS administrators and basically IT administrators. So you've taken these really, really capable people in one side and turned them into something that's really not in their wheelhouse. And unfortunately, because of that, they're not doing the jobs that they're best at. So we'd like to be able to take them out of the IT minutia, put them back into the jobs that they're uniquely qualified to do, which is around learning development and curriculum management. It's very, very exciting. So that we argue is the best place to be spending your limited training budget versus IT administration. in an LMS. The third item here is like you've got this program, so it's accessible, it's contextual, it's also being managed appropriately as far as IT resources, and you've got your learning and development people actually managing the curriculum. So the third thing you need to do is to take that program and make it visible. And why do you want to do this? Well, it's really pretty simple. What you really want to do is make the whole thing visible so you can put the right resources together and make continual improvements based on data and information. So in addition to just having that for your learning and development people, you can also take that exact same data and broadcast it to your executive team so they know what type of risk they have in the organization from a training perspective in various areas. You can take that exact same data, push that to HR so they can actually defend their budgets and make sure they're training their workforce appropriately. You can even take that exact same data and move it down to a line manager who has the operational day-to-day responsibility for these for his or her individuals, and being able to actually take that data and make important decisions about how people need to do their jobs on a day-to-day basis. So there's lots of things you can do with this data once it is visible, really to drive continual improvement in your organization around your learning and development program. It's very, very exciting. So I want to talk just a little bit about one of our customers, which is Novelis, and it's one of the largest aluminum manufacturers for recycling in the world. They had a lot of different problems going on, but the biggest one is they had had a third-party vendor that was managing their LMS, and we were able to provide a different solution that helps get their learning and development people out of the administrative minutia of managing the system and getting them back to actually providing exceptional training that keeps people safe worldwide. So we were able to do this in around 31 locations in 10 countries and multiple continents. But to give us an idea of the scale of what's possible here, in just a few short months, they had over 5,000 videos and 260 some courses in 7 languages for their entire training history, basically being accessible by anybody globally, and getting out of the learning administration and the LMS administration, getting them into a more secure environment. It was really, really exceptional. And they saved over $1 million in the first year, with an estimate that over 5 years, they're looking at 10 million plus in savings. So it's very exciting, and we're definitely happy to be a part of that from the Platform side. But in addition to those, we'd actually point you to a number of different client testimonials, and you can look those up on the store.servicenow.com and actually just see what other people are saying. And we're constantly getting more reviews and more feedback from our users. So you can look that stuff up and just kind of get a sense for what other people are saying about the Platform learning management system. So in summary, there are really 3 areas that you need to maintain. So you need to make that training where you need it, when you need it, and where you need it. And it's really important to make sure it's accessible both location and contextually. The second item is get your learning team back to learning and development, get them out of the IT minutia. There are tools, and we can make sure that the exact same tools can help you manage your system, but get your L&D team back to doing the things that they're uniquely qualified to do. And then the third item is really to make your program visible. Get that data out there to as many people as possible. You can make continual improvements, but also everybody in the organization then understands the training program, and it's a lot more defensible, come budget time. So make that program visible. And with that, if you'd like to contact us for a little bit more information, you can get to us by phone or also at email at sales@blackcore.com. And we'd love to talk to you about how we can help you and listen to a little bit of your story and your journey through your learning and development program. Thank you.